Patriots have won 3 of the past 5 NFL titles. They've dominated the AFC East for much of the last 20 years. And this Patriots team this season went undefeated, 6-0. And they've dominated people in terms of scoring. Number 1 in scoring offensively, number 1 in scoring defensively. They are a complete ball club. But the Jets deserved that victory. They outplayed the Dallas Cowboys. They gutted it out at the end. Adam Gase said we needed that game. Sam Darnold, of course, was the lead story, him coming back behind center and playing awfully well for this team. But down the stretch, the Cowboys mounted a surge, and when the Jets had to hold up on that 2-point conversion attempt, Greg Williams sent the house. And that meant Jamal Adams coming through up the middle, forcing the Dak Prescott incomplete pass, and the Jets could celebrate to start the second quarter. Now, here is a big-time sign for all of Jets Nation.
Yep.
C.J. Mosley has returned to the practice field live after the Jets got their offensive quarterback back. Maybe they're going to get their defensive quarterback back.
Head coach Adam Gase did deliver some positive news on the injury side of things. Like you mentioned, linebacker C.J. Mosley will be participating in individual drills today. However, Gase was cautious. He said it's still going to be day by day. There was no certainty that whether or not he's going to be playing Monday night. But like he said, it's day by day. This is a positive first step for the Jets.
Oh, yeah. Listen, this guy was dominant in his first appearance in green and white against the Buffalo Bills in Week 1. He had the pick 6. That was the Jets' first points of the 2019 season. He also recovered a fumble. He went down with a groin injury, making a fine PD on a throw from Josh Allen to John Brown. But listen, this guy is a 4-time Pro Bowl player. He sees things awfully well. He is central command for that defensive unit, and he is a leader. He is one of the Jets' 6 captains. So just to get him back on the practice field, it's going to give the Jets a jolt. But if they were able to get him back Monday night, that would be monstrous for this team who just got some electricity from Sam Darnold.
So far this season, linebacker C.J. Mosley has missed 4 games, the most in his career. And yesterday, head coach Adam Gase was asked, how impactful would it be if C.J. Mosley returned this Monday? He, quote, said, as impactful as getting a starting quarterback back. That impactful. So that speaks volumes to how head coach Adam Gase and the rest of the team views C.J. Mosley.
Oh, wow, it's a great point. I'm glad you brought it up because the Jets' offense was largely inept throughout the first quarter of the season after Sam Darnold went down. And look at what happened last week against the Cowboys. They moved the ball to a tune of 338 yards through the air as they got their offensive signal caller back. Mosley is a guy who he's a playmaker. He takes the ball away. He is stout in the run. He makes sure everybody is where they need to be. And with all that being said, the blessing in disguise here is Neville Hewitt has had a hell of a season for the Jets because he started out at the will linebacker. He did take over from Mosley at the Mike linebacker. So you would imagine if Mosley does indeed play this week that Neville would shift back and he'd be your weak side linebacker, and that would mean Blake Cashman, the rookie, who is also stepped up, he would be back into a sub-package role. But listen, if you get him back, again, you cannot understate the significance of what that would mean for this defense and this entire team.
You mentioned quarterback Sam Darnold. He returned to action last week after missing 3 games. And honestly, he put on a show. Completed 23 for 32 passes for 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And wouldn't you know it, it earned him the AFC Offensive Player of the Week, which was much deserved by Darnold.
It didn't look like he had missed any action at all. And now, when you go back to last season, and you look at Darnold's last, I believe, 6 starts after he came back from injury. I'm going to read you some numbers here. 9-2 touchdown to interception ratio, and has produced a 98.5 passer rating, the 9th best among all NFL quarterbacks. So what does that tell me? Obviously, he's working in a different system right now. Jeremy Bates was the offensive coordinator last year. Adam Gase is not only his team's head coach, but the offensive signal caller. But this is more than a trend. When Sam Darnold's on the field, he plays well. Now the key for him will be, hey, sticking it out, playing, not getting any unlucky breaks like he did with the mono. And if they can get number 14 behind center for the rest of the season, this Jets team has a chance to really do some things and make some hay.
Sam Darnold and the rest of the offense have quite the challenge ahead of them against the Patriots. Out of 18 defensive stats, the New England Patriots are first in 10 out of those 18 categories. But maybe one of the most important categories to think about, they are first on third down defense, and the New York Jets offense are dead last in the league in third down conversion. So as head coach Adam Gase and a lot of the players have been reiterating in the locker room, they cannot see themselves and put themselves in third and long positions.
And we're watching Darnold and the quarterbacks right now, and Darnold's got that extra protection around his rib cage, of course, after he was diagnosed with the mono, that you had to, before he got cleared, that spleen had to lessen in size, and of course it did. People were wondering how is he going to react going back to being in game action. Well, he looked like the same old Sam Darnold to us. But you mentioned those stats are all staggering. What Sam Darnold and the offense have to do this week is they have to be productive on first and second down. You cannot go against this Patriots defense in third and long. If you're in third and long against the Patriots, you're not going to win. You're not going to move the ball. That's just the bottom line. This is a team that communicates well. They excel at all three levels. They have perhaps the top cornerback in all of football right now, and Stephon Gilmore. So Darnold, Gase and company, they got to keep it moving on first and second down. What they did against the Cowboys that was awfully impressive is Darnold spread the football around. 7 different receivers in all. And Le'Veon Bell doesn't have the rush numbers so far this season, but since he was such a focal point early on in the year, that set up Darnold in the passing game into play action. The Jets were so effective in terms of their play action game against the Cowboys. And you saw those linebackers cheating up at times, and Adam Gase and Sam Darnold exposed the Cowboys by working the middle of the field on those crossers. And the Jets finally got some plays down the field. And what is that going to do when Darnold does that? It lightens the box, and then people are going to be like, okay, well, we've seen you can do some damage down the field. We can't just be sending everybody and focusing on 26.
We were just looking at quarterback Sam Darnold speaking with offensive coordinator Dow Loggins. I actually had the opportunity to speak to Dow earlier this week, and I asked him what are going to be some of the keys in finding success against this Patriots team. And he said, this is a team that waits for you to make a mistake and then they capitalize on it. So if Darnold and the offense are able to, like you said, prevent themselves from being in those third and long positions, they're going to be able to find more success against this Patriots defense.
Yeah, and listen, the Jets, the last time they played the Patriots was less than a month ago, week 3. Luke Falk was the quarterback. The Jets managed just 105 total yards against the Patriots in that first meeting. And they were 0 of 12 on third down. But again, listen, the dynamic has completely changed. I was just watching Bill Belichick actually before we came on set here, and he said he's a big, strong kid. He can make plays outside the pocket, but he also compared him, which is interesting, to Ben Roethlisberger because he said he can make throws with people hanging on him. He's a strong kid. So in the pocket, when there is chaos, and we saw it multiple times, he's got a great ability to manipulate what's going on there with little steps to his right or left, and he also can create different passing lanes by throwing at multiple arm angles. So if you're a Jets fan, you're awfully excited about what you saw from Darnold. Now you're wondering what is next against this Patriots defense, who you got to make the argument right now that they're the best in the NFL.
Switching gears, when you think of players who are more than excited to have Sam Darnold back, let's first look at wide receiver Robbie Anderson. We saw him and Darnold's chemistry on the field, especially after they connected on that 92-yard touchdown. He's going to be a player that's going to be key for the Jets offense this Monday night. 5
receptions, 125 yards against the Cowboys. You mentioned it, Liv, that he took it to the house from 92 yards. Again, that was a play action attempt from Sam Darnold. He stepped up in the pocket and got the ball out there. Robbie did a nice stutter, got a step on the cornerback. What the play action did also, too, was it made the safety bite up just for a second, and then you're not going to make up time against Robbie Anderson in an open field. He takes it to the house from 92 yards. We keep on talking about the route tree and how the Jets are using him differently this year. Well, I think that was more on display against the Cowboys. Now this week, the ultimate test again, because Stephon Gilmore, 20 career interceptions, 99 pass defenses against the New York Giants. Thursday Night Football last week, 5 PDs and an interception. He is at the top of his game right now. I would anticipate number 11 sees a lot of Gilmore Monday night.
Another receiver who we know is excited to have Sam Darnold back is wide receiver Jamison Crowder. In the past 2 games that he has played with Sam Darnold, he was just shy of a 100-yard game. So him and Darnold, the chemistry is very obvious on the field. And, head coach Adam Gase was asked today if him and Jamison Crowder, if Darnold and Jamison Crowder were going to be a more popular duo moving forward. And he said, I think Sam Darnold is just doing a good job of getting it to the guys who are supposed to be there.
Yeah, another quality point, because when you connect with 7 different targets, that means you're spreading the ball around and you're seeing the field very well. Crowder is a guy who has flourished with Darnold. They've only played 2 games together. He's got 20 catches for nearly 200 yards. And I know the Patriots have one of the top slot weapons in the history of the game in Julian Edelman. But this guy in New York with Sam Darnold, those guys are doing some damage together. And remember, the last time Jamison Crowder played against the New England Patriots, he was forced to play outside, not at the slot position, because the Jets were dealing with injuries because former Patriot receiver Demaryius Thomas was down that game. So the Jets, in 3 receiver looks, had to put Crowder on the outside. Now he's back home on the inside. And he has established an instant connection early on here in his Jets career with Sam Darnold.
Head coach Adam Gase had a few things to say about Patriots quarterback Tom Brady and what he brings to the table. Let's hear what he had to say right now.
Well, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. All we can do is every time we show up, we got to compete, and we got to do a good job of trying to put pressure on them and get the ball out and cover tight, and we just got to do a good job of it.
You were around Peyton. I mean, when you were around a quarterback in that elite category, is there one characteristic that just separates the great ones from the really great ones?
I mean, it seems like the one thing I could say those 2 guys that had in common was being in the same system or close to the same system for a long period of time. They think next level. They can answer a lot of, like, they're thinking about issues that can come along outside the offense that coaches are supposed to be the ones thinking of, where younger players don't always think that. They're just thinking, like, what do I have to do on this play? And those guys just, they know their stuff inside and out. They're thinking next level.
Adam Gase obviously very well aware of the opponent he is facing in quarterback Tom Brady this Monday night. Again, this is the second time the Jets will be facing the Patriots in just a month. And in week 3, when they faced the Patriots, they did lose 30-14. But the Jets were down a lot of bodies, most notably Sam Darnold. And the 14 points that they did score came from a pick 6 from Jamal Adams and a muffed punt, which Arthur Mollett recovered and was able to score.
Yeah, Mollett just was re-signed to the Jets practice squad, but so much has changed since then. Again, the Patriots are going to see a completely different football team Monday night at MetLife Stadium. I talked to left guard Alex Lewis about it, of what he thought the atmosphere is going to be like. He said, I couldn't ask for anything more than MetLife, Patriots coming to town. That place is going to be rocking. It's going to be a great scene. The Jets, what they did against the Cowboys, you'd like to see a repeat of that live, is finally they got off to a fast start. And at home, that would be monstrous because those people are going to be out in the parking lots probably about 11:30 in the morning, get a couple of adult beverages in them, and they'll be ready to go.
We mentioned Jamal Adams, and speaking of him, Pepsi is giving you the opportunity to hit the field at MetLife Stadium this fall for a chance to play flag football for Jamal Adams and an experience you will never forget. Enter at PepsiPromos.com/choose-your-side right now. Again, that is PepsiPromos.com/choose-your-side now. Pepsi is the official soft drink of the New York Jets. Talked a little bit about the defense. Let's now move on to one of the biggest playmakers that the NFL currently has, and that is running back Le'Veon Bell. He had the majority of the offensive touches last game when the Jets played the Patriots. He had 22 touches. But the biggest question now is, with Sam Darnold back, how can this offense help provide more opportunities for this star running back?
Well, just a repeat performance like they showed against the Cowboys would go a long way, because we talked a little bit about it before, is that teams early on were just playing man on the outside, bringing their safeties up and saying, here's our defensive game plan. We're taking 26 away, and we'll see what you got. Now, with Sam Darnold back in the pocket, back in the saddle, making plays down the field in the intermediate passing game, in the vertical passing game, that box is going to lighten. So Le'Veon Bell, it is a matter of time before he breaks out. I know he's averaging just 3 yards on the ground right now in 2019. He did get in the end zone last week against the Cowboys, but the more plays you make down the field, again, it's going to create more space. What the Jets are dealing with and what Le'Veon Bell is facing right now is juggling offensive line because Kelechi Osemele's out for the foreseeable future. That means Alex Lewis has been your left guard. Last week it was Chuma Edoga who started at right tackle, and Calvin Beachum at left tackle. But Calvin Beacham's dealing with an ankle injury right now. Brandon Shell came into the game, played left tackle. We'll have to see who the starting tackles are Monday night. So the continuity up front will be big as well. But 26 has been so positive throughout this year, and if the passing game continues with the trend it started against the Cowboys, it's just only a matter of time before you see his numbers really pick up.
You mentioned a few injuries. Let's actually dive into that now. Adam Gase adjusted the schedule this week. Usually Wednesday would be a practice day, but he gave the players that was just a meeting day. They did not practice on Wednesday, and it's because the Jets are a little banged up right now.
Yeah, they are. And this is where the extra day is fortuitous for the green and white. Beachum, Gase said today he really wants to give it a go, and we'll have to see what happens. He declined to say whether it was a high ankle sprain or not. Again, you would either go, if Beachum can't go, it's either going to be Brandon Shell, who came in for Beachum last week, or the rookie Chuma Edoga. So Edoga and Brandon Shell possibly could swap spots. Chris Herndon, they're hoping they can get him back out on the practice field to do some individuals. He might be a little bit away still. Albert McClellan, he's in concussion protocol right now. Running back, kick returner Trenton Cannon's got the ankle injury. But the big ones you got to watch right now are 57, C.J. Mosley. He's on the road to recovery. Could be on the fast track, and we'll know that probably by tomorrow, Liv, because if Mosley plays, if he gets team reps on Friday, that means he's really trending upwards. And at that point, you'd probably say it would be an upset if he doesn't play against the Patriots.
And one other update that Adam Gase did provide, defensive lineman Henry Anderson is on track to practice tomorrow. Will not be practicing today, but he is on track to practice tomorrow.
Yeah, he's dealing with the shoulder. And Nate Harrison, the cornerback, who's had a knee injury. So you get Getting Anderson back would be big because the Jets got a good defensive line rotation going right now. And against the Patriots, you always need healthy cornerbacks, so it would be good getting Harrison back as well.
Speaking of the defensive line, actually, that rotation, we saw some rookies and some of the younger guys really stand out against the Cowboys, one of those being Quinnen Williams and Kyle Phillips. They both had a very solid game against the Cowboys.
Yeah, Lorenzo Fadakasi, he's also part of this deal. Kyle Phillips, undrafted free agent, the only undrafted free agent to make the Jets roster. He had 7 tackles, I believe, against the Cowboys. Quinnen Williams, he's starting to flash as well. There's his fellow Alabama alum right there, C.J. Mosley, like we said, taking part in individual drills today. The big thing for C.J., as we talk about the defensive line, and he said that's one of the reasons I came here, because I want to know who's in front of me. And the Jets right now, they re-signed Steve McClendon last week. They got Leonard Williams up there. There's big Steve McClendon right now, and Mosley coming over with the rest of the defense. But, they're getting contributions from all over up front. Leonard Williams, I talked about Fadakasi before. You mentioned Kyle Phillips. And then Quinnen Williams, I thought, really flashed for the first time in his NFL career against the Cowboys. He's a big guy. He's got great feet. His lateral movement really helped the Jets, I thought, down there at a key point of that game when the Cowboys were up 7-3. And Quinnen helped the defense have that stand before Sam Darnold went up top to Robbie Anderson.
Adam Gase told the media today, too, when he was asked about Quinnen Williams and the progress he has seen so far. He said he expects him to just continue to progress like most rookies as he gets more and more experience. So he's very pleased with the progress he's seen from Williams so far. Before we wrap things up, I know we've talked about both sides of the ball, but one thing I want to ask you before we leave is, now that we know most of the players that will be in Monday night's game, what are going to be some of your key factors in the Jets finding success against the Patriots in Monday Night Football?
I talked to Steve McClendon about this, Liv, Monday night on Inside the Jets, and he said, you can't beat yourself against the Patriots. We know they're going to play hard. They're going to play fast. But you can't make countless mental errors. You can't make a mistake at a key moment because the Patriots will constantly capitalize on that. That Thursday night game against the Giants play well, but there were times where they're making mistakes where you just can't have them happen. You can't give up a special teams touchdown. You have to be clean on special teams. You got to be disciplined. You can't have multiple penalties. Offensively, you got to have some balance, but you got to have first and second down success. And you got to ride the wave of the crowd, too. I really think it's imperative for the Jets to get off early. And I do anticipate this to be a fourth-quarter game. And, oh, by the way, Adam Gase, as a head coach, since taking over the Miami Dolphins from 2016 to 2018, and now with the Jets, he's posted a career 21-7 record in one-score contests. Okay? So if this is a one-score contest in the fourth quarter, even though it's up against Bill Belichick, Adam Gase is going to feel right at home.
Monday Night Football, Jets and Patriots at MetLife Stadium. That's all we have for you today on Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM. But if you want more updates throughout the rest of the week, be sure to visit NewYorkJets.com. For Eric Allen, I'm Olivia Landis.